Are you ready to take your love for Spurs to the next level? Because we've got some exciting news for you. We're amping up our membership program so you can get even more of your Spurs fix. Plus, we're giving you ample opportunities to show off your Tottenham knowledge and win some epic prizes along the way.
As a Platinum member, you'll get access to exclusive shows, Q&A sessions, as well as FIFA content. You'll also have weekly chances to win We Are Tottenham TV merch in our weekly giveaways exclusively for you, our members.
But wait, there's more! We're introducing members-only giveaways during our watch-alongs, so not only can you watch the game with us, but you can also interact and win some incredible gifts along the way, talk about a win-win situation.
And if you're a die-hard Tottenham Hotspur fan, we've got something special just for you. Our frequent Spurs quizzes will test your knowledge and reward the most passionate fan with some amazing prizes. And if that's not enough, you can even be part of our weekly fan shows and have your say on everything happening at Tottenham Hotspur. It's like being in the locker room with the team. Well, not quite that, but you get the idea.
All of this epic content and exclusive benefits can be yours for just £12.99 per month. That's less than the price of a burger and a pint at the Tottenham Stadium. So don't wait, join our We Are Tottenham community today and take your love for Spurs to the next level. Trust us, you won't regret it. Come on, you Spurs.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another preview stream for you guys. Before we do get into it, I want to give a congratulations to the Tottenham under-18 team for bringing home a trophy. The under-17s also brought home a trophy this year, both winning the League Cup for their respective age divisions. But I think the under-20s or the under-21s are battling relegation this year, so I wish them luck. And the women's team are also battling relegation this year.
So either winning trophies or it's a shit show, essentially.
Basically, yeah.
That's how it is at Tottenham.
That is Tottenham Hotspur in a nutshell. And also, Tanguy Ndombele will be coming home to Tottenham in the summer with a Serie A title to his name, as well as Pierluigi Gallini, who won a Serie A title. So that
is Gallini a Tottenham player?
No, he's not.
No, he's not, yeah.
But it just carries on that rule that if you leave Tottenham, you go win a trophy.
Literally every player who leaves Tottenham wins a trophy. It's actually unbelievable how often it happens. Literally every player.
It's mental. And it's like the clubs that they go to as well. Like Ndombele has gone on loan to Napoli. They have not won anything since 1990. He goes there, they win a title. And not only do they win a title, but it's the earliest anyone's ever won a title in Italy, ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, very impressive. And they've been faltering in the last few weeks as well, so they could have won even earlier. Incredible.
But the scenes in Naples last night, man. I know this is a Tottenham stream, but I have to mention it. It was absolutely unbelievable, those scenes last night.
Do you reckon if Spurs ever win the title, we can recreate that in Tottenham?
Oh, I'd love to, man. I'd love to. Just no red fireworks. Let's keep it blue fireworks. But look, let's get into the preview today. It is Tottenham against Crystal Palace at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow, which is a really interesting game, to be honest. If you look at like the kind of league standings now, Champions League looks completely out of our reach. Europa League looks like it's very unlikely to get. So it looks as though we are playing to miss out on the Conference League. That's what we've got to look forward to for the rest of the season. You're looking at Aston Villa and Brighton, who are the teams that we're battling against. They both have very hard fixtures. We've probably got the easiest fixtures out of all three. So at the moment, it's looking quite likely that we're going to be getting the Conference League.
Well, Brighton look like they're going to be getting Europa League. So so at the moment they're a point ahead of us with 2 games in hand, albeit those 2 games in hand against Man City, and against Newcastle. So they're not the easiest games in hand you're ever likely to get. At the moment, yeah, I think to be honest, it's probably you're looking at us and Villa for that Conference League place. If we beat Brighton to anything, I think we'll finish top 6. If we finish ahead of Brighton,
Brighton nothing.
So in that case, I think it's between us and Villa for that last Conference League spot, to be honest, and that's not something we want to fight for. It's a tournament, a battle we probably want to lose. Albeit we are still only a point behind Brighton, so I don't think you can completely rule it out because they're 2 games in hand. There's no guarantee they win either of those games. So I do think if it's a straight shootout right now between us and Brighton for that last spot, I think there's still a chance we can do it. Albeit Brighton are playing extremely well right now, and even saw yesterday how they completely dominated that Man United team, and Man United were lucky that it only took until the 98th minute or whatever it was for Brighton to score. Could have easily happened before that. So Brighton are going to be heavy favourites right now for that last spot, but I don't think it's completely over just yet for that last top 6 spot. And I do want that Europa League spot, to be honest, because as much as it probably would benefit us to have a year out of Europe and completely concentrate on a free week to rebuild, I still like the idea of having that chance of being in Europa League and seeing what we can do in that competition. I do think it's a competition which has a lot of value and it will be very good to win. Conference League, on the other hand, for me, I just think it's a nonsense. I hate that competition. I've never watched a Conference League game apart from when Tottenham were in it. I'm not fussed about that competition whatsoever, and it doesn't give us anything. So I'm happy to miss out. I'd rather finish 8th than 7th for sure, but by the looks of things, 7th is probably where we're going to finish, which is very frustrating.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it is very frustrating because I kind of feel similar to you about the situation, but I think I would prefer... look, I side slightly with the Europa League, but I don't know. My heart is telling me that we should go to Europa League. It's a competition that we can win. It's another route back into the Champions League. But my head's telling me just like a season outside of Europe could do us the world of good, especially with the massive rebuild that we do need next season. So I kind of am favouring slightly with the coming out of Europe completely. But if we are in the Europa League, I'd want us to give it a good fist of it and really go far and see what we can do. But yeah, I agree. Conference League, there's just no point. What is the point?
Hate
Like, if
it.
you win it, you go back into Europa League. So.
Yeah, it's like and you get no money for it. You get like, I think if you win the whole thing, you get like 10 million or something. It's like nothing.
And we should just let people who want to be in it get there. I mean, Aston Villa, if they were to get in the Conference League next year, that'd be a massive achievement for them. So I mean, just let them get it. You know what I mean?
But I don't think Mason's been told that. 'Cause look, I'm sure we want that last Europa League spot. So I do think we're going to try and win every game as much as possible.
It's deja vu, isn't it? Last time Mason was in charge.
Yep. Same position.
It was the same position. We got Conference League on the last day of the season. Let's just hope it's not the same this year.
Beat Arsenal to it that time.
Yeah. But even beating Arsenal to it last year, it still wasn't a great thing to do, even if you were beating Arsenal. But look, in terms of Spurs against Crystal Palace, in terms of the head-to-head between the clubs, it is a club which we have had good recent history against. I mean, we score a lot of goals against them. The one loss in the last 5 games coming in Nuno's first defeat as Tottenham manager, which was a terrible defeat, 3-0 at Selhurst Park. But, you know, you cast your mind back earlier on this season, just after the turn of the year, when we absolutely tore them to shreds, didn't we, at Selhurst Park, with one of our best performances of the season. How do you look at Palace coming into it this time? Because they got Roy Hodgson back in charge. Something seems to have changed in their team because they seem to be scoring a lot of goals, seem to be getting good results. They did have their first loss a couple of weeks ago under Roy Hodgson, but they got back to winning ways against West Ham last week in a 4-3 victory, which shouldn't have really been 4-3. I felt like they were very much worth that victory. And I thought 4-3 put gloss over it for West Ham. But how do you assess Crystal Palace coming into this?
Yeah, I feel like there's a narrative, obviously, that Hodgson has come in and saved Palace, and they were on a massive downward trajectory, and he's come in, they've won 3 games in a row, and all of a sudden they're playing great football. I don't really agree with that assertion in my book. I think that what's changed is their fixtures got easier, in my opinion. I think that's the main thing that's changed. Yes, they were really struggling beforehand, don't get me wrong, and they were really struggling to create chances, but the fact of the matter is, before Hodgson came in, they had a really, really difficult set of fixtures. I think they played all the top teams away from home, a lot of them away from home as well. They'd had gone 12 games, and all of them, I think, Palace weren't favourites. And yes, you could say, well, even in those games, you should expect at least a few points. And they didn't lose 12 in a row. They did pick up a few points here and there, but didn't get any wins. But I just feel like, look, the games Hodgson has won, Leicester at home, Leeds away, Southampton away. Like, look, the fact of the matter is, Vieira, when he left Palace in the position he was, they were 12th, right? And that they were 12th, having not won 12 games in a row. Now, why were they 12th and not bottom? Because they had a really good start to the season. They were playing really well, and they were scoring goals, and they were playing good football. But they hit that really tough run. The results dropped, but they still had enough of a buffer to keep them 12th. Now, where are they still in the league? So Hodgson has taken them from 12th to 11th. It's not like I know it's a good narrative because he's a 75-year-old manager, and it's a great story that he's come back to Premier League management and won some games. But I don't agree with the narrative, in my opinion, that he's completely changed up Palace, and it's like completely like a new thing. Because I think Vieira was doing a good job, and I actually think he was unfairly sacked, in my opinion. I think he would have won these games.
Look, I agree. I think he would have won these games as well, but you can't get away from the fact that they're scoring more goals than they've probably ever scored in the Premier League era. Their XG as well is completely through the roof. I believe in 2 of the games that Roy Hodgson has taken over this year has been their highest XG in Premier League history, or something crazy like that. So I think that Roy Hodgson is doing a very good job. You can't say he's not. Whether Patrick Vieira should have been sacked or not, I agree with you. I don't think he should have, and I think he would have won these games anyway, but I don't think he would have won them maybe as emphatically as Roy Hodgson and Palace are doing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only one they really won emphatically, they beat Leeds 5-1, and Leeds has conceded loads of goals right now. The other games, 2-1 against Leicester, 2-0 against Southampton, 4-3 against West Ham. So I think they're all...
Yeah, that 4-3 against West Ham, though, was a bit of a sucker punch to them in their defence, because they should have won that game way more convincingly with the way the games went.
All right, I'm sure Vieira could have said the same about a number of games that they won this season. You know what I mean? That they didn't maybe score the chance they did. I think, look, you got to give credit to Hodgson because he has done well to seal to seal survival very early on. I never thought they were going to get relegated. I know they went on a 12-game a run without a win, and I understand that. And there was going to be a lot of anxiety going to the final stretch. So he's done well to just get them over the line. But I do feel for Vieira because I do think he would have won those games. I feel like they've given all the tough games to him, and they kind of given Hodgson all the easy games to kind of get them over the line and get all the praise basically for keeping them up. When at the end of the day, he's taken them from 12th to 11th. That's what he's done. So I do think it's a bit over the top, the praise, but I do get that it's a nice story, and they are playing well at the moment. Don't get me wrong. Eze, Olise, and Zaha. I mean, Zaha's only just come back from injury, but the one again for me, the most impressive thing is Zaha. I think got an injury in his first game, and it hasn't affected them. Olise and Eze have really stepped up under Hodgson and taken responsibility, and they've been scoring. Have been scoring a lot of goals, and that's been very impressive. And they've been linking up really, really well, and you got to give them credit for that. But I just think a lot of the praise is over the top, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but it is a good job he's doing. He's scoring a lot of goals. In terms of what you're saying about 12th to 11th, I mean, he's won, 4 out of 5 games, so...
They've won 4 out of 6.
4 out of 6. So, I mean, he's doing the best he can, Roy Hodgson. And if Patrick Vieira was still in the job, I mean, it probably wouldn't be too much difference. Maybe a couple of less goals, but they would be in the same position, let's be honest.
They would have been safe, 100% with these fixtures.
No, they'll be in the same position. They'll probably still be 11th in the league. But look, if you're looking at the form coming into this, we're looking at Palace, the amount of goals they're scoring. They've scored 11 in the last 5. We've scored 10. But the big difference is the amount of goals we've conceded in our last 5. They've conceded 6. We've conceded 16. How have we conceded 10 more goals than Crystal Palace in our last 5 games? That just shows, like, we've been banging on about this defence for the last couple of years now, and that is just proof in the pudding, isn't it?
100%. I think it's now 20 goals in our last 7 games as well, or 20 more. I think 21 goals in our last 7 games. It's ridiculous, our defensive record. I do think, obviously, it's a consequence of having 3 managers in a very short space of time. So a lot of disorganisation. Our defence was bad under Conte, but our problem wasn't that we conceded as many goals as we're conceding now. That wasn't the issue. As much as we would make mistakes and we wouldn't be very good defensively, we were never this bad defensively when we had Conte. At least we had a bit of organisation about us. But now, since Conte's gone, and then Stellini's come in, he's had a bit, maybe change it, a different way of playing slightly. We went 4 at the back for 1 game, conceded 6 goals. Now Mason's come in, go for a slightly more offensive style of play. That changes the back 4 dynamic even more. So I think when it comes to defence, the main thing with defence is it needs time and it needs to be worked on. And you're never going to get a defence right in 1 or 2 games. It's very, very difficult to do that. So I think it goes to a consequence of lack of quality and lack of structure leading to a shit show, essentially. If you have one or the other, you can it won't be as bad as it is now, but we're kind of mixing the two. So you have a good defence with a bad structure, you'll probably not be great, but you won't be a shit show. But if you have a bad structure with good players as well, you can maybe as well get by. But with a bad defenders and a bad structure, then all of a sudden, here we are.
16 goals in 5 games.
And here we are. Exactly.
If you look at the predicted lineup for Crystal Palace, this is the lineup that they played in the last game, the 4-3 win against West Ham. It's interesting. Recently, Sam Johnston has been preferred in goal to Guaita. What's happened to Guaita? I mean, Sam Johnston, how's he been the last couple of games?
I don't think he's been great or terrible. I think
with Spurs, wasn't he?
He was going to be our sub keeper. He was on a free transfer. Never really happened. Hasn't really got a look in for Crystal Palace this season. I think White has been a decent servant for Crystal Palace. He is getting on a bit, although he's like in his early 30s. He's like 33 or something, which isn't too old for a goalkeeper. But I think recently maybe they've just given Sam Johnson a go. I don't know. Maybe he's been playing well in training. We know that he has Premier League experience, and he was a decent Premier League keeper at West Brom. So it looks like they've preferred him for the time being. Fair enough. I don't really know if maybe Guaita was making mistakes or something. I don't know. But it didn't seem to be, because they were winning games fairly comfortably, and then Johnson just suddenly came in. So I'm not really sure what the reason is. Need a Palace fan to tell us, I think. Yeah,
and in terms of their defence, Guehi and what's his name? Anderson at the back, right? 2 top players, in my opinion. 2 players that both get into our defence, in my opinion. Guehi, the one being linked with us at the moment, linked with us and Arsenal and top clubs in the Premier League. First of all, I think we've spoken about him a lot, so I think both of us can agree that he would be a good asset to us if we were to sign him. But how do you see us really hurting this Crystal Palace team this weekend?
Well, as much as Palace have been good offensively under Hodgson, it's actually at the back where they haven't been amazing, which is funny because you associate Hodgson with more of a defensive style of play, a bit more of a pragmatic manager, safety first. But actually, they have been more offensive, thrown caution to the wind. They haven't been like this most defensive team. So I do think it's going to be interesting because in all their games, Palace, since Hodgson's taken over, they've by and large, apart from maybe the Leeds game, where they were much more on the counter-attack, in all their other games, they've dominated possession and they've been the team in control. Now they come to the Tottenham Stadium against a team against us who under Mason, we haven't been having lots of possession, but clearly in the second halves, we've definitely looked to put pressure on the opposition and looked to control the game.
So to be fair, we haven't had much of an option though, have we?
True, because of the situation, but are we going to look to do that from the start in this game? I think it's going to be interesting to see how the game plays out, because are Palace going to try and dominate possession like have been ever since Tottenham's taken over? Are Tottenham going to dominate possession like we have been in the second halves under Mason? Obviously, this is the first time under Mason now we've played maybe a team in the bottom half as opposed to, we played United and Liverpool, two really tough games. Palace, obviously is going to be a tough game, but this is a game, obviously, we probably see ourselves more on the front foot, more trying to dominate, attacking. So I do think there are ways to hurt this Palace team. I think their wing backs in Mitchell and Joel Ward definitely can be got at 100% out wide, and especially how wide we like to play. If we can get Porro and Perisic really far forward, it does two things. Either they get the space because Joel Ward and Mitchell aren't that great and aren't going to be going so far out wide because of our inside forwards, or it forces Eze and Olise or whoever they play, or Zaha. It forces them all the way back, and it makes it difficult for them to get forward and really penetrate and find the space that they have been finding in the past two games. So I think our wing backs are going to be massive threats in this game, because I don't know. I think, look, Olise and Zaha are hard-working forwards, no doubt about it, but they want to be getting forward. They want to be getting in the final third, and they don't want to be tracking back the whole game. So I think it's important that our wing-backs really force their hand in that aspect, in my opinion.
In terms of our front line, obviously Kane and Son definitely going to play, but the other position on the right-hand side, a toss-up probably between Richarlison and Kulusevski. Kulusevski, I thought, performed well off the bench against Man United, but then followed up with a poor performance from when he started. Richarlison, in our tier list, he was right at the top of the best performing players of the month. I thought a bit lucky to be there. I think a bit lucky to be there, but who would you prefer to see start tomorrow, Richarlison or Kulu?
I think you got to give it to Richarlison just because I thought he had a good impact when he came on against Liverpool, and you got to reward that. He came on and scored, and it wasn't just the goal. He was causing havoc. He should have had a penalty. Yeah. He was just causing problems for them, and I think you got to reward that, especially with Kulusevski not having the best game. I'm not saying that. I don't think Kulusevski was as bad as people are saying at Anfield, albeit he didn't have a very good game at all. But I do think you got to reward a good cameo from Richarlison. I do think as well against Man United, he played for an hour. It wasn't great, but he was all right. Mason seemed to be happy with him. He's also coming back from an injury as well. So I think if we do that, though, it has to be Richarlison on the left, Son on the right, and that's what we've been doing recently when he's been on. I think it's actually looked all right, to be fair. I think Son's been fairly comfortable.
Sonny on the right.
I don't mind him there because he can cut on his left. We know he's so two-footed. For some reason, like that goal, for example, that he scored against Man United, where he arrives at the back post, and also that run he makes against Liverpool, he just seems to be less likely to do that from the right-hand side. I don't know why. Even though he's very two-footed, he seems still more comfortable on the left-hand side. But we know that he's more comfortable on the right than Richarlison is. So from that aspect, I would like to see Richarlison on the left and Son on the right, and I think it adds a bit more bite to the team as well. And Richarlison as well, after getting his first goal, I want to see maybe he can build off that, get 2-2, maybe build some confidence and really build a platform going into next season where maybe he can hit the ground running a bit. So I think that's why I would like to see Richarlison for sure from the start.
Yeah, and like you say, I think he deserves it, to be honest. And if Richarlison does start, It really gives us that opportunity later on in the game if things aren't going our way. Richarlison likes to tire out opposition defenders as well, and Kulu can come on and really reap the benefits of that.
And also, one thing that's very underrated, in my opinion, is his box presence and his ability in the air. And I think that when you think about it, when we have Kulusevski and Son, and we're playing the way that we do, where we're just spamming crosses in from wing backs, you're pretty much just aiming for Kane, essentially, or the back post wing back, who's sometimes free. Whereas if you put Richarlison in there, all of a sudden you do have another option you can aim at. You do have someone who's going to be a bit of a presence there, who can attack things in the box. And I do feel like that is definitely missing. When, as much as under Conte in the last season, Kane, Son and Kulusevski were dynamite together, the way we've been playing this season, I don't think has lended to them being at their most effective. And I think that if we're going to be getting as many crosses as we are this season, I think we're crossing a lot more this season than we were last season. And if we're going to be crossing that this much, I think it makes a lot more sense having someone like Richarlison there.
If you look at the ones to watch for Crystal Palace, we've put in there Zaha and Eze, but could have well put Olise in there as well. That's going to be their front three this week. Eze might dropped a bit further back into midfield, and Jordan Ayew, Zaha and Olise in attack. But on these two players specifically, I mean, Eze has super impressed me this season. I feel like he's taken it up a notch, albeit, I mean, he has suffered with injuries last couple of years, which has held him back. But what's Eze bringing to this team that maybe he hasn't the previous couple of years?
He's adding more goal contributions, clearly. Before, he was much more of a winger. When he first came, and he was much more of a player who liked to play wide, especially come from the Championship. He was much more of a winger, and now over the last year or so, he's developed into more of a number 10 or a central midfielder. And I think he's thriving in that aspect, because out wide, obviously Eze is really good at beating players, but he didn't have that ruthlessness on the out wide to get crosses in or just cut inside and shoot. Whereas he's really utilising his creative ability in the centre, and he still has that side to him where he can get a shot off in the central area as well, rather than cutting in from the wide area. And because he's so good in those tight spaces, it actually doesn't affect him too much when it's congested, because he can actually deal with those congested areas really, really well when he's got players around him, and it allows him to link up with the wide man or link up with the striker. So he's really thriving off being in the central area, and it's really great to see. And I think it's not too long before he gets an England cap, in my opinion. I think he really, like, why should Mason Mount be ahead of him right now? He shouldn't. I think he should be there as a number 10. I think
the reason Mason Mount's ahead of him is because Gareth Southgate has his favourites. That's the only reason, literally. But in turn, look, Eze, I mean, when he was at QPR, when we were linked with him back then, I really wanted him then. And you can see he's come on leaps and bounds since then as well. I mean, he really is a top player, or he will be a top player as well.
I would even go as far as to say, if we're looking to solve our number 10 issues, I wouldn't look as far as, I wouldn't go further than Eze, but he's going to cost a lot. He's going to be English premium. He's young. Another buying off a Premier League team. Like, could you reckon you could get him for the same price as you get Maddison? I don't know. Only because Maddison is going to be coming from a relegation team. Palace would want to build on that, but
Maddison's got only a year left on his contract, right?
Yeah, so I reckon if we go for something like Eze, you're probably looking at 70 million.
70 million.
That's reality, I think. To be honest,
how much did they sign him for?
I think they signed him for cheap, like 15 million or something.
I reckon if you put a bid in of 50 million, they consider that.
I don't think they do. I think they. I think you underestimate how much money Premier League teams have now. Like, I think they've got no reason to sell for 50. Look, he might be worth 50, but they've got no reason to sell 50. They're going to say if you want him, you have to pay a premium. I think
it depends if like a big club comes in and then he starts kicking up a fuss. Because if he starts kicking up a fuss, then the price will go down, and they'll be pressured to sell. But look, in terms of Wilfried Zaha,
they've done that with Zaha, haven't they? They kept him every time.
Yeah, they have kept him. But did Zaha kick up a fuss? Really?
He did. He put in a transfer request a couple of times, and they. I remember 50 million bid from Everton on deadline day. He put in a transfer request, and they said no. So they have previous for standing strong. I do think it'll cost a big price for Eze if they wanted him. But I would love him at Tottenham, to be honest, especially now he's developed that role in midfield. Yeah, especially.
And I love the dynamic that they have going forward with Zaha, with Olise, with Eze. I mean, Jordan Ayew could definitely be upgraded on, but those three players, I mean, they are top talents. I mean, Zaha's getting on a bit, 30 years old, on a free in the summer.
Yeah, interesting.
Would you take him?
I've been a massive fan of Wilfried Zaha, and I thought he was. I still think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's got so much, in my opinion. I know he's 30, but I still think he's got levels to go in a weird way because he's been carrying for many years this Palace team and doing a lot of this by himself. And you can even see now in the last two or 3 years, since Olise and Eze have come in and helped him carry that load. Of goal scoring, he's actually upped his goal contributions and he's actually been more effective. But the reality is, unfortunately, he's 31. Injuries he's now starting to get a few injuries. He's he's also on I think right now on 200 grand a week at Crystal Palace right now.
200 grand a week.
Yeah, he's on. They gave him a big contract, or at least 150. I think he's on a big contract at Crystal
Can't be
Palace.
on pay parity with Harry Kane.
Well, you say that Lingard's on more than Harry Kane. It's crazy. But anyway, Zaha's on a big contract now with Palace. They want to keep him on. They're going to offer him big money. So you're looking at probably something like 200 grand a week to get. On a free, you're probably looking at more, to be honest, because he's on a free. So you're looking at maybe over 200 grand a week to bring him in. He probably wants at least a 3 or 4 year deal. I just think the money doesn't make sense for a player of his age. As much as I think, if you're looking just on quality wise, in my opinion, if you take age and price and all that out of it, if I'm looking at him just on quality and position wise, versatility, I would love him at Tottenham. I think he's absolute star quality. I think he's worthy of a Champions League team. I think he's one of the most underrated players. Even now, people still think he's a show pony. I think he's so much more than that, in my opinion. But I think when you take everything else into account, with how football's moved on, I just think we need younger players. I think we need younger forwards who can build to the future, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have, let's say we sign Zaha. I don't want to be in a situation 3 years. Let's say we sign Zaha and Kane signs a contract. We don't want to be in a situation 3 years' time where you have Kane who's 33, Son who's 34, and Zaha who's 34, all running out of contract. Then all of a sudden we have to spend 300 million to replace that whole backline. We need to start thinking about that now, not put that off through a few years' time. We need to be looking at the next generation of Tottenham forwards. 100%. So I don't think Zaha is that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I've always had reservations about Zaha, to be honest, but I can definitely see he is a top player. And I would like to see him at Spurs, but I completely agree with you. Like, we need to be going for players about 10 years younger than Wilfried Zaha right now with where we're at. I mean, the whole thing is we need to decrease the age of the squad. We need to find the next Heung-min Son. We need to find someone to eventually replace him. And Wilfried Zaha is not going to be that guy because they're the same age. So.
I think we had a chance to do it probably a few years ago if we really stumped up the cash. Because I think when he was like 27 or 28, there was an opportunity, I think, to get him when he was really trying to itch for a move. Didn't happen, and I think now that time's gone.
But how do we go about keeping these guys out on the weekend? Because they're so quick, tricky, know where the net is. They're scoring a lot of goals at the moment. And with our defence the way it is, what was that, 16 goals in the last 5 games. How do we keep these guys out?
I don't think we do, to be honest. I think we're definitely scoring. I think we have to just try and outscore them, to be honest. That's going to be how we win this game. I don't think trying to keep a clean sheet and keeping solid is going to be the way forward. We need to basically bank on the fact that we have better attackers than them and kind of make it an open game. And if we do that, then I think we can outscore them, because I do think our attackers are more clinical than Palace attackers. When you think about Olise and Eze and Zaha, the problem with them is if we dominate possession and then they're springing on us on counter-attacks, they're 3 of the best one-on-one dribblers in the league. I think if you actually look at take-ons, I think I looked at this the other day, if you look at Premier League take-ons per 90 minutes, I think they're all 3 of them are in the top 5.
Yeah,
how many take-ons they do.
Doesn't surprise me.
So even when they're not linking with each other, they can just do things by themselves and take players on and create chances and create openings. And that's the problem when we're dominating possession. So in a way, we can't, if we really want to concentrate on defending against Palace, you need to be compact and you need to be a bit deeper to make sure that they're not getting that space, so that they're not getting too many one-on-one situations. You kind of need to double up on all of them in a way, which is very hard to do because they're all very good at beating just a single player. But I just don't think that's what Mason wants to do. I don't think Mason wants to he wants to go away from playing in that kind of compact, deep line we were playing under Conte. So I do think we're going to play a bit higher up, be a bit more aggressive. And I just think the game will be a bit more open in that aspect. We just have to make sure that we're not starting games like we did against Man United and Liverpool. I'm hoping that we don't. And then if we can maybe have a good start as opposed to a start that we did in the last few games, I do think there's definitely goals in this for us with our quality. So I do think our quality is there, but Palace with their front line, I don't think it's even. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but we're like it's going to be near impossible for how our defense is playing to keep a clean sheet in this game, in my opinion. Even if
in any game,
it's just we're just all over the place. I'm not got no trust, so I think we shouldn't even bother. We just go for them and try and create as many chances as possible.
Would you think about with our back three this weekend? Would you think about playing Romero, Longley, Davis?
I would always think about that. Anything to get Dyer out of the team, to be honest. Look, we have done it this season, haven't we?
And it hasn't looked bad.
It hasn't looked bad, but also like it didn't have massive improvements, but it wasn't terrible. I think we played Villa.
We played Bournemouth, didn't we?
We played Villa and Bournemouth. We lost to Villa 2-0 and then beat
Dyer
Bournemouth.
play right, or he came on as a right back or something against Bournemouth, didn't he?
He did. His second half.
Yeah.
And it helped us, to be honest. It wasn't too bad in that aspect. But I think Sanchez started against Bournemouth, to be honest. And then Dyer came on. So, for sure. Romero, Longley, Davis, I'd give it a go. I think they're all very much more mobile than Dyer, albeit I don't think Longley is particularly quick. The only thing Dyer gives you, I guess, is his ability on the ball to play long passes, which I don't think the other players have shown. But at the moment, last 2 games, his passing's been atrocious anyway, so that's kind of out the window.
If he gets pressed. That's supposed to be his speciality, his passing and his ball playing ability.
No, but it's not long range passing; it's more short range passing. He's very good at. It's supposed to be anyway, more progressive. Like Dyer is very good at those switches of play. To be fair, he is pretty good when he's not being pressed and not under pressure. He can actually ping them really well. But last few games, he's been pressed really aggressively, and he's been all over the place. So I would drop him.
See it happening again this game.
I would drop him. But I don't think he will. I think Mason likes him and he's going to play him. I don't think that's going to happen. So I do think that's going to happen, but I would like to see it. All
right. What's your score prediction?
I've been flirting between 2-2 and 3-2 Tottenham.
I said 3-2.
In the preview, I did a preview yesterday on Barry's channel, and I said it was going to be 2-2. I said I'm not sure we're going to be good enough to win the game, but I also think with the way we've been playing recently, I do see us much better at home than we are away. So I'm going to go 3. What was our last home game? Was it Bournemouth or Brighton?
Man United.
Oh, Man United even. So we've been scoring goals at home, haven't we? And we have been much better at home.
I could even see like a 4-3 or something like that tomorrow. I'm gonna. And when you're looking at our games, I mean, this is one of the ones where you got to say we have to get the 3 points. But do we have to get the 3 points? Because we don't want Conference League.
We have to get it if we want Europa League. Yeah. If we don't want Conference League, then a loss is a good result. But Villa go away to Wolves on the weekend, so there'll be and obviously Brighton play Everton at home. You probably expect them to win that game. So I think if we obviously don't win this game, I think that will probably be the nail in the coffin for Europa League, probably, if we don't win on Saturday.
All right, so there you have it. That is our match preview. Sim is going for 3-2 to Spurs. I'm going for 4-3 to Spurs. And let us know in the comment section below what your score predictions are and how you feel the game is going to go. But next up, it is your chance to have your say. So if you want to join the conversation and come on and have your say, the link is in the community section for members right now. And the first member that...
Sorry, Mason's been speaking in his press conference.
What's he said?
He's been talking just from injury news, which is interesting. He said that Lloris is definitely out for the season, which they feared. He said it's probably too early to set a return date for Bentancur. Basuma, he said he hopes we see Basuma for the last few games of the season.
That'd be nice.
But we won't see him on Saturday. Sessegnon had a significant injury and he will be definitely out for the season. And Emerson is day by day, but hopefully he'll be seen before the end of the season.
Sessegnon is like, I swear,
every time,
this guy can never stay fit.
That's the problem with him.
He's more injury prone than anyone that I can ever remember. Even like Darren Anderton and people like that. This guy's way more injury prone than any of them.
Yeah.
It's mental.
It's just someone you can't rely on. Even when he was having good games, you just like you can't rely on him because he just gets injured, and also always feels like when he gets injured, it takes him a while to get back to his best, and then he has like 2 good games back to his best, and he's injured again.
It's a shame because like he's still only 22, and like anyone of that age, you still want to give time to, right? But I mean, with the injury record he's showing, I know when you're young, you know, you can shake off those injury problems as you get older and progress into your career. But I mean, can we keep doing this with Sessegnon? Can we keep doing this?
On the flip side, so if I was to play devil's advocate, I'd argue Bale at that age had quite a bad injury record. And then he kind of got over it. But what did Redknapp do? Redknapp just told what Redknapp did in training. I remember he said like he kept like getting injured, and then Redknapp said like in training he would just like when he would go down or something, he would tell the treatment, don't give him treatment. Like in training, like no, let him like kind of toughen up a bit. And apparently it helped him a bit. Well, I don't know if that would be advisable now.
The difference between Bale and Sessegnon, though, Bale literally showed
Bale.
proper ability at 16, 17 coming into the first team. You know what I mean? Sessegnon hasn't shown anywhere near what Bale showed as a 16-year-old, as a 22-year-old.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
So,
albeit at 16 he was very good. He was in the championship. Sessegnon.
Yeah, but Bale came into Spurs at 16, 17, and yeah, fine, he wasn't part of a winning team for ages, but he scored that free kick against Arsenal. He scored against Fulham. He showed actually good ability and good quality. Sessegnon hasn't showed anywhere near that.
No, yes.
So let's move on and let's go into the callers, and let's start off with Elias, Step Up Spurs. How you doing, Elias?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad, my friend. Not bad, my friend. Just gearing up for the game on Saturday. How do you think Spurs are coming into this? How do you think Palace are coming into this? What's your thoughts?
It's gonna be a tricky one in my opinion. I think we have a lot more optimism in terms of our home form. I guess that's one of the factors that's kind of driving some form of confidence, because lately our home run has not been that bad. I think the last home game we lost was when, I can't remember. Does anybody remember when was the last time we lost at home? It was, I think,
we lost to Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth. That was the game that we lost at home. Since then, the home run for the last 3 games or so has been okay. But going into this game, I have a few concerns, because Palace is always a tricky opponent for us. Whenever there's a lot of sorry, just give me a minute. Whenever we go at Palace, it's a tricky fixture for us always, and I think Roy Hodgson back is going to be a bit tricky. They are having a bit of a managerial bounce as well, if I must say. They are doing well lately under Roy Hodgson, so it is going to be tricky. And I wonder, Roy Hodgson, although yes, that when he is towards the end of his seasons, or when he's towards end of his time, but whenever he starts off with a club, he always seems to get the results out. And I guess that's the thing that's going on with Palace at the moment. They are having that managerial bounce, and I don't know what kind of tactics would Mason deploy again. I guess he doesn't have much of a choice. We have seen that back four shambles lately as well. I think it's my first time coming on your show since the back four drama, as that happened. And yeah, I don't think Mason has many choices, so he has to make use of the 3-4-3 tactics as much as possible to counter Roy Hodgson. And in my opinion, it's going to be a really tricky game.
Elias, looking at the league table now, Brighton's win yesterday makes even a top 6 finish look pretty far away. I want to know what you think in terms of how likely it is we'll get that top 6 with the season ending. And what do you want? Do you want us to come out of Europe? Would you like the Europa League spot or the Conference League spot? Do you care? Like, what's your feeling towards the end of the season?
Look, I'll be very honest. I don't care as long if we are not getting top 4. I can't be bothered whether it's Europa League or whether it's Europa Conference League. Like, I really don't care. For me, the most important thing was that yes, we end up in Champions League, if not the title. It is somehow, I know that yes, some fans want trophy. I do want top 4 for the sake of, I don't want other fans to come and banter me that, oh, you all play on Thursday nights and all that, and we play on Wednesday nights. I did that last season quite a bit. I don't want others to come and tell me that. and that's why I wanted to be in the Champions League. But now it doesn't matter whether you are in Europa Conference League or whether you are in Europa League. You still play on Thursday night, so it's not nothing different for me anyways. So I'm not that excited about it. I'd rather we finish eighth and then let's say start something better than going into any of those two leagues. I can't be bothered. Like I've given up on this season fully.
But
But
Elias,
will
Since
we?
Conte,
Elias, if you get bantered for playing on Thursday night, surely you'll get bantered even more for not playing midweek at all.
I would rather get bantered for that. I mean, like seriously, guys. I mean, I've given up on this. I've given up on this team in a way since Conte left because you have no other. You have like seriously, man. I've given up on the team. I've given up on whatever's going on. The only thing that I haven't given up on is to get Levy out of this club. Seriously, like that's the only way forward for this club. If not for Levy going out, nothing good is going to happen in this club. And I want to see that happen only. Other than that, I can't be bothered whether we go on to Europa Conference League, whether we go on to Europa League, or whether we go on to Europa Super League, whatever other league. It just doesn't excite me anymore. Like the seventh finish and all that. Maybe one other thing that would have excited me a bit is if Chelsea would have been in a good position to get relegated. That would have excited me even more. And Arsenal bottling the top spot, that has excited me even more than I just can't be bothered about what Spurs is doing at the moment. It's really annoying. Since Conte has left, it has looked like horrific sort of football, the horrific game and horrific tactics. The managers don't know what they are doing, and it's seriously just bad.
Yeah, in terms of the selection tomorrow, there's a selection headache in terms of the front three. You know, Kane and Son definitely going to play, but who would you give that third spot to? Would it be Kulusevski, Richarlison, or even Danjuma?
I think I'll give it to Richardson with his with his recent form and recent run. I'll give it to Richardson, and I'll use Kulu as an impact sub and see how it goes. I think Richarlison has earned that spot lately, although I don't rate him that highly, as you all know. I'm not a Richarlison fan. But recently, with his performances and the way he has been doing, I think he deserved that top spot. Sorry, he deserved that spot at the right wing. So definitely, I would give Richarlison a chance. Danuma, I might bring on Danuma towards the end when that point where always Sun, because we know that Sun usually doesn't end up in the with all the 90 minutes played. So like 70th, 75th minute, whenever we take off Sun, I think that's the point where I might bring in Danuma, and at some point I'll bring off Richarlison as well and bring in Kulu to as impact subs. Other than that, I think I'll pretty much stick to the starting lineup because I think that's the best we can do. And no, I won't take out Eric Dyer and put anybody in like neither Sanchez nor Tanganga because they are worse than Eric Dyer. I'm still sticking to
Well,
that.
it doesn't have to be Sanchez or Tanganga. It could be a back three of Romero, Longley, Davis. Would you welcome that?
If that's happening, that might work as well. Yeah, fair play. But yeah, Davis is now fit, so it would be interesting to see if Dyer goes out for that. But even actually, when we once played that back three, we had a pretty bad run, if I'm not mistaken. Like without
It
Dyer as
can't
well,
get
our
much
run,
worse than what it is, Elias.
it can get much worse than what it is, guys. Seriously, like this is the same narrative that people use when they say that it can't get much worse than what it is with back three, and you played back four, and we saw that in the Newcastle game how worse it can actually get. 5 goals in 20 minutes. My goodness, guys, seriously, it's seriously bad. And it can get worse still, guys. In my opinion, I'm not exaggerating it, but definitely that back three is still our best choice in my opinion. Like you can't shift that much, because I don't think Langley is fast enough. I don't think Davis has those natural center back qualities as well. Somehow Dyer has to be in there. You don't have many other choices, and yeah, man, I would still stick to that back three somehow,
Elias,
unless you have a quality center back.
what are we thinking
Yep.
about the new manager? Like there's still a lot of talk flying around. More names coming into the hat this week with Xavi Alonso. Everyone's still kind of pinning their hopes on Nagelsmann. But what do you think about the new manager? Who's your inkling towards?
Um, Look, as much as I hate the idea of having a young manager look, I'm not against young managers, and I'm not against youngsters rising up and all that sort of stuff. I just feel that at this point, it would just give Daniel Levy an excuse that yes, we are building a project. We are trying to groom a young manager. We are trying to groom a young squad. It will just buy Daniel Levy a lot more time going into it. I'm not against young managers, but at this club, in this situation, a young manager would not work. And I don't think our fan base has the patience to deal with a young manager, or the young managerial mindset, or that project basis and the tactics that the young manager would deploy. So for me, I would rather have someone like Nagelsmann, given that yes, he's young, but he is that kind of experienced manager, and he has experience in his back as well. Or someone like maybe Arne Slot, I would look at it. Uh, Zabi is another one. I'm a little bit like half here, half there. Given that compared to Nagelsmann, he has a bit more Premier League experience, that he has played with the Premier League sides. So I'm like, I can't make up my mind on one particular name, but if you were to pick up of all the names that we are linked with, Arne Slot is the guy I would go for. Like, in
All
my
right.
opinion, he's the manager. He suits our style. He suits the project basis as well. And also, I think he's another person like Ten Hag, who can come into Premier League and get things going immediately. Aside building a project as well, like he will also build a project, and I think he would also do well in like cup competitions. In once he like if he comes in, maybe we might be able to win something like Carabao Cup or FA Cup with his style of football and the way he plays. So he is the guy I think I would go for, Arne Slot.
Score prediction, Elias, for Saturday?
Um, Saturday I would go for a 2-1 win for Spurs. Yeah.
Who's going to get on the score sheet?
Uh, one from Kane and one from Son,
All
and
right.
maybe a Richarlison assist. Yeah.
Big up, Elias. Thank you for coming on today, and we shall speak to you next
Thanks
time.
for having me on.
No
Come on,
problem.
you
Thanks for
Spurs.
coming on. Come on, you Spurs. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Purple and gold to your soul. Brian Daigle. What's going on,
Damn
Brian?
right, people. All good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. All good. What are you thinking about the game tomorrow? You confident?
So first of all, I just want to add to the things you were saying about Bale and Sessegnon. It's also true that Gareth Bale, unlike Sessegnon, wasn't made of Weetabix. So that's another thing that separates them
That's
two.
the point we were making. He was made
Yeah,
of the Weetabix because he
yeah,
kept
that's what
going
I'm saying.
down and
I've
kept
had it
getting
too.
injured.
My God, this kid, honestly. This game, the two you mentioned, I mean, I've spoken before that everyone's talking about Eze and Elise. To me, I think Eze is levels above Elise. I really, really do. Elise is a great player, but Eze, I just think there is something about him, especially to fit us right now. But Sim was talking about the transfer fee. Do you know what? If it was 50, 70 mil, and that's what we wanted, pay it. Don't go buy 6 players or 5 players and then not have a start. If that's what it takes to get that kind of player, get him. As it comes to this game, again, Simeon, I heard you speaking at the beginning saying the games they've had are a lot easier. You're right to a case, but the teams they're playing have also been fighting relegation against them as well. So those games are probably more important, and they need to do better than they have done in the games against the big boys. So I think Hodgson's come in as well, and normally being ultra defensive has just come on and said, you know what, you've been playing this kind of football, play it, and it's allowed them to do it. And again, it comes to the point where I'm more worried about our defence in this game than our attack doing it. Palace haven't been conceding many recently. I wish we could say the same. So I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. I really do. It's not going to be easy, that's for damn sure.
In terms of personnel, Brian, what changes
Yep.
would you like to see in the team?
Dyer out for literally anybody. I just honestly, like I said to you after Liverpool, people are going, oh, Mason Mount, Ryan Mason. He's got Tottenham in his heart. He's got this and that, but then when it comes to Tanganga, don't play me shit. I don't. I think there's a real player in Japhet Tanganga. I just don't think he's had the opportunity in a set position for long enough with a trusty partner with him I'd have Tanganga in tomorrow without even questioning over Eric Dyer.
We're in the middle or the right or the left. Where would you play him?
I think when you look at it, if it's do you know what? I would actually put him in the centre. I'd put him in the centre.
Don't know about that.
For me, I would. I honestly think I've said I think his best position is the right of the back three, but you got Romero. Actually, the way he's been playing, yeah, I would put. Sorry, I'll scratch that. I put him right centre back, Romero centre back, and then Longley or Davies at left centre back. Is Longley fit?
Yeah.
Is he available?
Yeah.
He was on the bench last game, I think.
So, or even Longley in the centre and drop Romero. Mate, I just don't. The defence is a shambles. And the thing is that we keep hearing this, you don't change a winning team, which I agree with. But surely you got to make some changes in a continuously losing team. Surely, like we heard from Stellini that these aren't tactical errors, these are individual errors. Well, these individuals need to be stepped out. Just because they made individual errors doesn't mean the players, Tanganga or others, won't make will make the same mistake. So I would like to see changes there. I really would. And I want to see Star start a game. I really do. Over Højbjerg, probably.
Really? You want to see Skip and Højbjerg?
Yeah, Skip and Sar.
Skip and Sar, sorry. And, you know, I've seen calls on social media from a few fans to give a few of the youth boys a chance, even Romain Mundle. Would you like to see that?
Mundle, I'd love to, but it's another one we're going to let slip through the door, apparently. Another prospect going through out the door without that's out of our control. But when we're talking youngsters, you know who I'm going to say. I'm going to say a certain Alfie Devine.
Yeah, there's rumours about Alfie Devine, actually. Apparently, we're going to be loaning him out to a League One or a Championship side next season.
Well, this is what we should have done this season. That guy needs minutes, so he's ready. Because once he's had minutes, he will be, like I keep saying, the superstar that I know he's going to become. And if that's what we have to do to get him out there and get some regular minutes, then I'm all for it. I'd much rather he stay at Spurs. But if he's not going to get the minutes, we have to let him go out and get these minutes in case we're not going to get the benefit. He is a superstar in the making. I've even put a bet on, or about to put a bet on, that he'll be in the 2026 World Cup team for England.
Oh God!
I think I'm not a betting man, but I reckon I'll get very, very good. I keep meaning to do this. I haven't checked it. I haven't put it on yet. I keep meaning to, but I'm going to. That's how confident I am with this kid. He is going to be electric, and I would love to see, and not just him. Do you know what? The way this season is going, with everything, give the youngsters a chance. Say, go on, there's your chance. The pressure's off you. Go do what you do and show an impress.
I feel a tattoo bet coming on, Brian.
I put. Oh dear! Don't rope me back in. I did so well to work.
If Alfie Devine does not get a call up, you have to get a picture, a tattoo of his face on your face.
I don't think Alana will go. I don't think Alana will go for that.
Maybe she can go to sleep every night seeing Alfie Devine.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I think my marriage could be in jeopardy if that happens. I'll tell you what. I will put a bet on with you. If Alfie Devine isn't in that World Cup squad, I will get an Alfie Devine face tattoo or something to do with Alfie Devine tattooed on me somewhere. Just definitely not my face.
I'm not taking the bet I'm not taking the bet just for your own well-being.
I want to add to my collection.
Yeah, but if I put I'm not taking the bet. I'm not taking the bet, Brian. I'm not.
Okay, well, Ilana thanks you in advance. But yeah, but like I said, I mean, Simeon, you would probably love to see some of the youngsters come out as well, wouldn't you?
100%. Why not?
Exactly. What
got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
And they're clearly talented. We got talented youngsters. The pipeline at the moment is just from the to the first team seems to be non-existent, and it's just really frustrating when we're seeing more and more young players through the cracks leave. You got Madueke starting for Chelsea at the moment. I know Chelsea aren't doing well, but you know he's a player we had, and we couldn't convince him to stay. And now he's a £40 million transfer to Chelsea, and like we have, there's a few other examples as well. So we've got to be doing better with making sure these youngsters have a pathway. Because you look how other clubs utilise it, like Phil Foden starting at the moment for Man City.
Even Cole Palmer, look how many minutes he gets.
They've got people like Palmer coming through. Arsenal have got people like Saka starting. Like we have to be. I know we have Kane starting, but that's like he came to the team like nearly 10 years ago now. We need to be looking at the next generation.
Yeah, there's another one in there as well that a mate kept telling me about, and I've seen him a few times now, and he's impressed with. Is Mikey Moore?
Mikey
That
Moore. There's
kid
a few.
is,
Dorrington, Donnelly.
yeah.
I mean, there's quite a few of them making a name for themselves now, aren't there?
They really are. I mean, I'll go back as far. I remember when people like Nick Barmby came through, and we put them in when they were young enough. If you're young enough, you're good enough. And some of these players should be given an opportunity. And Alfie Devine is definitely one of them. Mundell, you got a bit. Mikey Moore, it is too soon. He's very young, but he'll be knocking on the door soon. But I think we've got to. I mean, at least you know what? If he played a lot of the youngsters tomorrow, I don't think there'd be a lot of people that'd be downhearted because, oh my God, all the youngsters are in. I think it would unite and make more people excited to see it. You won't know what football we're going to bring. Hopefully, it'll be more progressive, and we could see some things. I mean, I'd be quite happy to watch some of the youth or some of the up and coming ones start from the remaining games just to see something different, some new talent and some new ideas come from a player. Because right now it's just the same stuff over and over again. It's just will we concede 3 in 15 minutes? That's the challenge at the moment, isn't it? When we're away, thankfully tomorrow's at home. But yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace will bring a lot of threat. They're in a lot more better form than we are. That's for sure, aren't they?
Definitely. They're on very good form and come with confidence. Although they've only won one of their last three, to be fair, but they are the way they are playing. And as well, those three players, Eze, Olise, and Zaha, just three very tricky customers who we're going to have a hard time trying to contain, aren't we? In terms of Zaha, Brian, he is on a free in the summer. Are you a fan of his? Would you want him at Tottenham, or is that not something you'd like?
I have been a fan of his. But I don't want him. It's like he's available on a free now, so I can see the pros to try to get at him. But it's kind of like what you said, Simeon. You look at Kane, you look at Son, then you add Zaha to that, and he comes for a couple of years. Or if he did, then in a couple of years' time, you're looking to find a whole new strike force. And you're going to have to do that very, very quickly if it's all three or whatever. So, again, Zaha, as much quality as he would bring, we need to start buying people like an Eze, not saying his specifically, but people of that age and that quality that could be here for a good few years and make a real impact into this team. And I don't think Zaha falls into that category anymore.
Fair enough, Brian. What's your score prediction going into it tomorrow?
If in doubt, go Desmond. I just can't. Like I said, I can't see us getting a win for the rest of the season. I seriously can't. Especially when we go to Leeds. Leeds could be playing for their absolute lives, and that stadium will be absolutely toxic for very pumped up. I think a draw. I put it this way: I just can't see us keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah.
So it's just again relying on the three up top to get more goals than we concede. But one thing I will say for a go as well is speaking about Zaha. What's the point of bringing in Zaha? We don't even know who the manager is.
Yeah.
We don't even know what's going on there. And you look at it, I think we're the only football club that we have their reporters like Alistair Gold and everyone that announce that our due diligence process of the due diligence is over. So now we know what we're looking for. It's like, well, you've had weeks to do this. I don't see when any other managers are looking for teams that their reporters come out and go, the due diligence part is done. We will now compile the interviews.
Yeah, Chelsea did the same thing a week ago, I think.
It's just in my opinion, it's just nonsense. Every time I watch your incredible updates, which I watch every day on the way home from work, every day it's a different manager. Every day, and then it's Alonso coming up. This needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed quick. Certain managers that have been like Nagelsmann, who apparently is the number one target the whole time. If he's the number one target, he's out of work. Go do the talks. Done. If that's and then if he doesn't take it, you move on. You don't have this is our number one target, but we're going to make sure we have 3, 4, 5, 6 in the background, just in case they turn us down.
What if Nagelsmann? What if you're the owner of Spurs and Nagelsmann said to you, "I'm not making a decision till the end of the season"?
Then if that's what, then you say, okay, let's sign a contract now till the end. So it says
no, not making a decision till the end of the season, not joining at the end of the season.
Okay, then you have a couple of backups, but the way it's been branded about right now, yes, but mate, there's about 6 or 7 of them And you've seen already a few of them have said, I don't want to play backup to anyone. So making it as public as it is isn't the greatest. This is something that should be kept in-house again. But by some ways or means, they're not. We just need to get this over and done with quickly, so we know at the end of the season. If he said end of the season, mate, you look at it as well. You want your manager to have the most time, so get the players in he wants, players out that he requests, and build the team. Not have this dragging in throughout the summer or through the break, whilst we're trying to appoint, and then deal with it. It'll be too late. We need to go our house.
We need a sporting director before we even think of a new manager, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that as well. Good time. Another day in paradise, as we say, Ben.
Yeah. All right, Brian, thanks for coming on today, my friend, and we'll see you soon. I think, are you going to Hogwarts after this?
No, I'm going to get ready for a protest. You know exactly what I'm doing. We'll be there, unlike others. We'll be there where we say we'll be. And as always, Levy out.
Big up, Brian. Let's keep going.
Just before we run his interesting one, Ricky Villa has been talking to Talk Sport on a golf course, and they given a little interview, and they asked him who he wants the new manager to be, and he said he's urging Pochettino to reject Chelsea and come back to Tottenham, and he said we need Pochettino back. I'm going to meet him next week, and we'll see what happens.
Wanyama also came out as well, and Wanyama said Poch should not be going to Chelsea. He should be going back to Tottenham.
100%. But it seems as though we're the ones who don't want him, to be honest. So.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy talk. Poch has been known to come out and say he's disappointed that Spurs haven't got in contact. Chelsea are there trying to get the deal done. All the Spurs legends and people that used to play for Spurs are coming out saying that Spurs want him. The players apparently have said that they want him. The fans have been calling for him, but the ownership don't want him.
Apparently not. We're not
because they don't want to admit their mistakes. But let's go on to our next guest, and it's sure to be fireworks. That is Mr. Box Office. How you doing, Alex?
Right, day 40 of Tottenham Hotspur not having a manager. The worst kept secret in Tottenham's history, or in football history. Let's just say that. Firstly, and I don't really want to be against you guys at all, but I'm still waiting for that invite for the panel shows, bro. Where is it? Where is it, bro? You've invited everybody. You completely invited everybody right now. You've invited.
We're not going to be bullied into inviting you, Alex. We're not going to be bullied into inviting you.
You're too busy on Chris Cowling's streams. That's what you're doing.
Sean's got a membership to it, and that's Asthmatic. I love Asthmatic, by the way. I'm big up to him, even though he talks a load of nonsense. But he's my boy, whatever. You know what I mean? But come on now, bro. I mean, he even had expressions on it as his own show. I mean, that was interesting because some of the nonsense he was chatting about, saying, oh, by the way, I didn't like the football Tottenham. I absolutely hated it. What's Trophy Mourinho then, bruv? What was Trophy Mourinho? What was him jumping up and down last season saying, oh, we got Champions League? And who was the mug? Who was the man? The man that was saying that was just bang average last season. Yours truly, Mr. Main Event, Mr. Box Office, talking the truth every single time. And if you don't know, get to know. That's the boy that was talking the truth every single time. But no one respects Mr. Box Office, though, don't they? They don't respect Mr. Box Office,
Sorry,
though, don't
Alex,
they?
we must have addressed it to Mr. Post Office instead.
No, they don't. They don't, don't they? No, they don't. You know what I mean? I'm not here for the game. I ain't here to talk about the game because we all know the season's over. Yeah? There's no point of talking about these players anymore because they're done. They're absolutely
What do you want to talk
done,
about, Alex?
Yeah? What I want to talk about is our brilliant manager search, yeah? On day 40 of not getting a manager, heading towards the record of 72 days without a manager. And it's counting down the days. You know what I mean? You know, because that's an absolute nonsense. Now, let's try it again. Who's the lucky person who's going to be linked with the manager, Jerome? Oh, yeah, Alonso. Where did Alonso come from, bruv? Where did he come from? The scrap heap? You know what I mean? The scrap heap with a list. Yeah. The piece of paper that we had. You know what I mean? Look, this piece of paper here. Look, we had a list of people and we thought, oh, yeah, we'll think about this person. Yeah, we'll think about this person. Oh, we'll think about this person. Oh, I forgot that one. Oh, I thought I scrubbed that up. Scrap that up. That's what we did. Put it in the bin. Oh, no, I need to go back and get it now. That's what Tottenham Hotspur are doing. Honestly,
Alex,
I've never heard
who do you want to see? Who do you want to see? Who's your number one choice?
I've got no idea, bro. I've got absolutely no idea. The fact is, right, I thought Nameless was our top target, right? And the excuse I'm getting from Tottenham fans is, oh, we ain't got a director of football. Okay, so, right, you knew Antonio Conte was leaving at the end of the season. You knew it. You absolutely knew it. So why did you not go to him in the first place, bruv? Yeah, why did you not go to him already? I know he was at Bayern Munich, but you could have just said to him, okay, Nagelsmann, you're our number one target, by the way, yeah? Why don't you tell us who do you want to work with? Who do you really fancy to work with, yeah? And he tells you who he wants to work with. It's quite simple.
How can they do that when he's being employed by Bayern Munich?
Well, you could think of another way of doing it because you're the ones that got yourselves in this mess in the first place.
But why would he consider joining Tottenham if he's the manager of Bayern Munich?
Well, like when he got sacked, you're twerking for him straight away. So you could have
got sacked a few weeks ago. You're talking about when Conte got sacked.
Well, no, but at the same time, you could have done that then. You could have done it for the other guys as well that you're twerking for as well. You could have done that as well. The fact is, Tottenham are in a situation where, right, we're going to get to the end of the season and we're going to be to the end, middle of the summer and we still haven't got a manager in, yeah, with a director of football, yeah, right? This is dangerous when you've got look how much work we've got to do, Sim and Ben. How much work have we got to do at the club, yeah? And we still got to think about next season. And you wonder why I said we're in danger of being in trouble next season. Yeah?
Nah, I didn't wonder that.
You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
I 100% get what you're saying.
Because it's like, you can't tell me this is not good. This is good. Yeah?
Who's saying
comfortable
it's good?
with this at the moment?
Who's comfortable? Everyone is angry at Spurs right now. No, there's not one.
Have you ever seen a happy Spurs fan
that is happy or comfortable with the situation? Not one.
So I ain't comfortable with this because I'm sitting there thinking, any club, any person that's sitting there telling me they're comfortable with Mason each other, everybody's telling me, oh, Mason, he's doing so well at the moment. Bruv, you can't learn nothing from these players anymore. Yeah? You learned so much already. They couldn't get the job done in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, yeah? Right? And we can't keep on bigging up Kane and Son because they didn't turn up in these moments to get us through these finals. That's why I said they're losers, yeah? Right? Because in those sort of games, they should have done something in those games to get us through those games, yeah? We're done. This team is absolutely done. That's why I'm saying there's no point in me talking about Crystal Palace because if they turn up now, it's like, mate, too little, too late, you have. The date was like a month ago, 3 months ago, bruv. The ladies left you already, bruv. Out the door, bruv. You know what I mean? So you lost your trophy already, bruv. You know what I mean? You know, it's pointless. Absolutely pointless. You know? So this is the point I'm saying. It's like, at the moment, I am not liking what's going on at the top club at the moment. Why have we not got a director of football when Parachi... You can see clearly. You can see clearly. Because Parachi was still cooking in Daniel Levy's eyes, yeah? Right? That he was always going to leave this club, Parachi, yeah? But Tottenham Hotspur let him stay around. They were hoping that he was going to get off, and that was it. So they don't know, they didn't know what they were doing. They thought he was going to stay. That's it. Because they would have had somebody in place already, or somebody in place at the end of the season, at least. You know what I mean? There's ways and means to get things done. I'm sorry. And it's very concerning that we're still talking about this, and you know this is going to happen. This is going to still be rumbling on in the summer. Yeah, you know it. You absolutely know it. And please tell me if I'm wrong.
There must be someone you want, Alex. There must be someone you want. Never mind who we're going to bring in, but who do you personally want as the next manager?
To be honest with you, bro, I've got no idea because the thing is that I can say Pochettino, but Pochettino ain't going to come back, and it might not be a good idea. I wanted the ball when Pochettino was employed. Look how that worked out. You know what I mean? I wanted Angelotti one time as well. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've got no idea anymore.
But I thought you speak facts.
What? Speak facts.
I thought you speak facts.
You tried it, Sim. That's a good one, bro. That's a good one, bro.
You
tried it, aren't you? You trying to get the spotlight? Yeah, now. Yeah, I like
I'm not
it.
getting
I
the
like it. I
spotlight.
like it.
First of all, it's my
You're
show.
trying to make
I
it
like
right
it.
out
I
Mr.
like
Box
it, Rob.
Office.
I'm just
Sim.
saying. He says he always speaks facts, and
Here we go. Here we go.
you're
Oh, I
giving
like
us all the
it.
examples of you not speaking facts.
I'll give that to you, Sim, yeah? I'll give that to you, Sim, because you're a sweet boy, yeah? You're a sweet boy. I'll give it to you, bruv, yeah? That's Mr. Box Office, Professor Truth. Giving you due that one. I'll give you due on that one, yeah? Never again. Never again. Yeah, never again.
Never
Yeah?
again.
Yeah? Yeah? Because that's not what Alex employs me for, you know what I mean? No.
You wanted
Anyway,
the ball. You wanted the ball.
huh? Yes, I did. Mug. I'm a mug. But anyway, moving on. You know what I
Someone
mean?
clip that up, please. Someone clip that up.
Oh yeah, well, it's nice to get clipped. You know what I mean? Because I've been waiting for that for a long time. But anyway, moving on. But yeah, look, seriously, I don't know, because at the end of the day, and I stick by what I said. I said it on Savage show. Yeah, and by the way, to everybody that says Haaland's the best thing since sliced bread, I still think he's above average. John Carew. That's coming from Mr. Box Office's mouth, and I've said it
average
here
John
first. Yes, above average John Carew. I said it on Savage Show. I'm saying it here,
Premier
and
League
I'll show you
goalscorer
proof
of
on my
all
show
time.
as well, Mr. Box Office TV, if you really want to know, as I said before. You know what I mean? But anyway, on moving on, because I just digress, by the way. Yeah, this team has got no chemistry whatsoever. They've got no chemistry whatsoever at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, because the partnerships in this team are failing. Yeah, that's why. You look at the team that we had with Poch, the teams that we had previously. You had Ledley King and Dawson. Dawson was crap without, sorry for swearing, crap without Ledley King. He was absolutely rubbish. Yeah, right? You had Alderweireld, you had Vertonghen, partnership. You had Venyama, Dembele, Masters. You know what I mean? You've got Kane and Son, partnerships. You do not have those partnerships anymore. The back four, you had the back four of Walker, Rose, Alderweireld. That was chemistry altogether. The whole team were getting on with each other. This is exactly what we're missing. We don't even need stars in the team. It just needs people that work well together, are competent in a system or competent as a team, and then you can see what happens, because this is a bang average league. I'm not being funny. This is a bang average league, yeah? Right? The only team that looks decent, which is showing its self-worth, is Manchester City. You know what I mean? And that's it. Arsenal just playing above themselves, and that's it. It's been a bang average league for about
What are you
a few
talking
years
about,
now.
Alex? Man City are bang average with an average John Carew up front.
No, I said they're a good team. I said they're a good team, but I said above average John Carew, because he's a goal scorer. Yeah, he's a good goal scorer. He's a stat magnificence. He's absolutely magnificent stats wise, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, but in terms of creating and in terms of a player, and even Glenn Hoddle defends me on this as well, because you watch TalkSport and you'll see what he said about him as well. Yeah, right. I'm not fascinated by him. I'm sorry. He's above average.
Glenn Hoddle actually said he's a world-class player.
Oh, is he gone? I think he's gone.
Mr. Box Office out.
Please subscribe to Football Heritage TV, by the way, right? Because he's a good guy, by the way. And that's it. So, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
now.
just
We just
about.
lost
You
you
can't
for a
hear me.
second, but you're back now.
Oh,
You
is he
can't
gone
hear.
again?
I think he's lost connection. So
He's gone. Can you hear me
Alright.
now?
we're going to have to move on because I think you've lost connection, Alex.
I'm gone.
All right, we'll move on. But thank you, Alex, for coming on. Very entertaining call, as always. Let's keep going. Who else do we have in the back end? We've got the Joracle. Is he also frozen?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Is he frozen? Yeah, he's got a bad connection, Jory. Jory, if you want to reconnect, disconnect and reconnect. I'm not sure what's going on, but you keep freezing. But we've got our next guest being lined up as we speak. But Haaland, just above average. What do you reckon?
Apparently just above average John Carew. Apparently John Carew at his best will be hitting 60 goals in this Man City team. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Look, John Carew is a good player, but he ain't no Erling Haaland, I can tell you that.
Absolutely. Let's try Jory, see if his internet... Yeah, it looks like it's better. Jory, how you doing, my man?
Oh,
Are you on mute?
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hey,
How are you, man?
I'm good. I think it's your internet, to be honest. Me and Alex cut out at the same time, but we had a good. So yeah.
What do you reckon?
Anyway.
Is Haaland a just above average John Carew?
I would say slightly below average, right? No. Unfortunately, he's turning out to be everything the hype kind of predicted he would be. So, unfortunately for the rest of the league, I think. But that being said, I'm sure Kane would have the same numbers if he was there, or maybe even better.
More. Maybe even more.
Yeah.
But Jory, you know, coming into this game, it looks as though Europa League even is maybe a bridge too far for us. Would you prefer to see us just come out of Europe completely as opposed to getting in the Conference League?
I mean, yes, if we were starting a real project, I think so, yeah. I mean, yes and no. It depends also on the profile of the squad with that project, because I actually do think, you know, I've said it before, both the Europa League. I mean, I think Europa League is nothing wrong with that silverware at all. And to be honest, Conference League silverware is better than the freaking Audi Cup, which is our most recent silverware. So let's that would be fine to be able to
put some respect in the Walter Tull Trophy, please.
Yeah, well, you know, I struggle with that, as does the rest of the footballing world. So, but the Conference League could be a good platform to develop youngsters, you know. So,
if we use it as that.
Yeah, exactly. If the project's like that, you know, but I don't have too much faith in project, you know, because I think. You know, Nagelsmann would be done if we were serious about it. You know, the stumbling blocks are the Wade's budget and you know, basically Nagelsmann doing his due diligence and making sure Levy doesn't do a Levy, and that's a stumbling block. So we yet again can confirm that Levy is none the wiser, playing his old bullshit games and. You know, these guys always think, well, it's not as bad as these whiny fans make it out to be, so on and so on, you know. But I was one of those whiny fans, and I could see that domino, which we're now into, happening way like a year ago, you know, when I first sensed contested discontent, you know. So, you know, I like, it's not going to get any better. I really think, you know, we won't get them to do the right thing. I'm sorry. I don't like this is like an abusive spouse, you know. It will always start up again, you know. You'll get good periods for sure. Levy will put a good transfer budget in this summer or something.
Oh, Jory, we can't hear you.
What's this? Sound's gone.
It just cut off
Randomly.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go.
We
Yeah,
can hear you now.
Okay, you got some weird stuff going on. You know, I muted Alex's speaker, and that cut my sound off for some reason. Yeah, yet again, I can only implore you to buy some new software, guys. It's not the greatest.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I was saying that, you know, what we're experiencing now, and I actually want to echo what Mr. Box Office said before. Is like, we're only day 40 of a long search. If it is not gonna be Nagelsmann, it's gonna be Nuno 2.0 situation this spring and summer, you know. So yeah. Yeah.
Jory, do you also echo his thoughts, saying that you don't really care what happens in this weekend's game against Palace? Don't really care how the season pans out from here?
I mean, I'm watching the game, so I want the goals. I care about seeing individual stuff, but in the bigger scheme of things, it doesn't matter. I mean, if we can get Europa League, it's something, But also, I like it's there's only illusion. The only real thing on the table, the only real matter to contend with for this club is Levy and the board. So yeah, I don't care too much, unfortunately. I have to admit to that, But of course, I always want to see, especially maybe the front line and the midfield, and stuff like that. I do think Mason should be experimenting a little bit. And to be honest, I've been really impressed by Mason, apart from his substitutions, which have been awful. But I do think Mason has become much more of a man. So hold on, I have to just say this. Blessa, hur går det efter kommen? Ja, gick hem och öppna för det. Okej. Ja, gick hem. Okej, bye.
Can anyone translate in the comments? I'd love to know what Jory's
someone
saying.
get some subtitles on in the chat.
But yeah, guys, I have to cut it short now. But I would definitely say, because of our front line, we can always steal a win here and there, But I would say we're probably gonna progress now. So instead of conceding 3 in 20 minutes, we're gonna concede 2 in 15 minutes, and then we'll start playing football. So I'm going for 3-2.
3-2.
Big up, Jory. Thanks for coming on today, albeit for a short time, but we'll see you very soon.
Take care, guys.
Cheers, Jory. Let's move on and let's go to Barry.
He's got a big smile on his face.
Yes, Barry, what are you smiling about today?
Well, I worked out what the phone call was and what Jory said. First of all, the first part of it said Alex is Mr. Box Office talking absolute waffle about Haaland. And the second part of it was KPV is in the mud because he's got 3 Arsenal players in his FPL team. So,
Where is KPV? Where is he?
Show yourself, Kyle. He's in hiding now, Barry.
KPV, we got a bone to pick with you, my friend, if you're watching.
He's in hiding.
Yeah, he's busy. Busy blocking people, probably.
He's busy.
He hasn't come on for a while, to be honest, KPV. We haven't spoken to him.
He didn't block you, Barry. He's just busy. He didn't block you.
Oh yeah,
he's just busy.
Sorry. Yeah. Just like Alex is busy talking about the bang average John Crew. I mean, the nonsense that comes out of just insane, right? Just insane. But
Barry, he said, Spurs fans have got to stop being happy and start being unhappy right now with the situation. Are you a happy clapper?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know me. We were talking about Champions League. We were talking about winning the league. We were talking about Istanbul. No, I think it is what it is at the moment. I think we've just got to be. I guess
still got those hotel rooms booked, don't you, Barry?
No. I cancelled them. I should have maybe sold them to some Man City fans. But
if you can find one.
If we can find one. But look, it is what it is at the moment. There's 4 games left. I think we're all kind of done with this season. We just want to kind of get the season finished and then kind of move on. We'll still have a manager in 35 days' time, or we won't have a manager in 35 days' time. We won't know what's going on. So I don't think anything's going to change. And I guess this is the frustrating thing, is that the people that were positive before, like me and a few others that were really positive, we've kind of just resigned ourselves to, let's just get to next season and kind of start again.
Yeah, but coming into this game, a lot of people saying they don't really care. They don't want Conference League, so they don't want to win. You have the same feeling? Would you prefer anything but the Conference League?
Look, I think if we're honest, Conference League is probably our level. And like you were saying earlier, if we're going to go into a competition, we want to go into it to try and win it, not just go into it for the sake of going into it, right? I think we need a reality check. I mean, obviously Brighton winning yesterday was great. They have got the harder games in terms of finishing. You know, obviously they've got 2 games in hand now, so they should, in theory, finish above us, even though their games are harder. It's going to come down to the Villa game. Having seen the way that we, you know, obviously I was at Anfield on Sunday, thanks to you boys, and yeah, it was. We just don't start games. We just don't start games in the right frame of mind. So I think we should just tell them when they go out on the pitch, guys, it's the second half. You're 2 or 3-0 down, and then they might turn up. But I said a few weeks ago we're going to get 9 points from the last 9 games. We've got 4. Will we get 5 out of this last 4 games? I think the next 3 games could be draws, and I think we could lose to Leeds because they're going to still need something in that last game of the season. We'll know where we're going to finish. We're going to be kind of on the beach, and it's going to be really, really difficult. So yeah, I just think it's not that I don't care. I'll still be watching. I'll still be supporting, but I just think that we just need to get the season over.
Well, Barry, we have a coronation this weekend, but who do you think is the heir to the Tottenham throne as manager?
God.
Oh my God. That is absolutely
Jesus.
Oh my God. I mean, look, I know you had expressions on earlier in the week, but there's no way expressions is dropping lines like that, man.
Why not?
If you drop that when expressions on, he'd still be going on about it now.
Yeah, he'd be going, oh, Simba.
Well, it's coronation week. It's coronation week.
Mate, we're this is what expressions say. We're more like Coronation Street, bruv, not Coronation. Who's it going to be? I mean, look, there's Xabi Alonso, Company, Nagelsmann, Mason. No, I don't think we're sure on what we want. I don't think those 3 are probably going to be sure if they even want to come, right? I don't know. I just think that we need to, whatever we do, we just need to back a manager. I'd say we haven't done that for a long time, but we need to. I think we need to have patience, and I think our expectations maybe need to be a little bit more realistic. We do need to go for a situation where there's so many. Ben's mentioned it before. How many players? 19 players with contracts, or they're not in there. They're not wanted. You've got the loan players coming back. There's so much to do that even I don't know where to start. So where a new manager would know where to start is beyond me. So I'm not really fussed because whatever happens, I'm not sure anything changes at the moment, and that's the sad reality. It's made everyone kind of think it doesn't matter who's here because they're either not going to get backed or they're going to I don't.
Oh, was he cut out? He's still there? I think he's gone. Well. Oh, hello.
Remix.
I think Barry has glitched out, unfortunately.
Do we have anyone else? Oh, Barry's back. Bring him back on. We got one more question for Barry. I'm not sure what happened there, but it looked like you were remixing yourself for a second.
Connection, boys. I'm sure it is.
No.
Barry,
our connection never goes.
Don't blame us, Barry.
No, I don't think
What's your score prediction, Barry?
No, I think I've gone.
No, you're there. You're
gone.
there. Is he gone?
Hear us.
Can you hear us?
No, it's not happening. It's not happening, boys.
Everyone wave goodbye to Barry.
Can you see us? No. All right.
I think that brings an end to the stream today, but sorry for the guys who lost connection towards the end of their calls, but we'll be back very soon for predicted lineup. Press conference will be with you soon, and then the watch along, me and Sim will be here with you in the studio for the watch along tomorrow, so come and tune in for that. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.